Your natural hair is good for church programs. Your natural hair is good for when you want to pick your kids at school.
Oh, wow.
Don't bring your natural hair to my event.
Hi guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Crystal Tunabor, and in today's video I wanted to give my opinion about sort of a snippet of a podcast that was going making its rounds around Twitter. And so the podcast I think was taken from the Bhad and Bougie podcast to what I've gathered was that these were 3 Nigerian influencers that have created a podcast, and then they give their opinions and their thoughts about things. So in this video, one of the women can be heard saying don't wear your natural hair to my event because it doesn't look good, or I think she said that whenever she sees a woman wearing a nice dress and but she has minimal makeup and she wears her natural hair out, it doesn't look good, and it sort of annoys her, and they were laughing about it, sort of thing.
And there's this whole battle, natural hair versus wigs or weaves. What's your take on it?
Your natural hair is good for church programs. Your natural hair is good for when you want to pick your kids at school.
Oh, wow.
Don't bring your natural hair to my event. I have natural hair, but I'm wearing a wig. But I don't have to. I can wear my natural hair if I want to go out. If I'm going to the beach, now I can wear my natural hair. It's good for the beach. If I'm going to church, it's okay. Do you get what I'm saying? If I'm going to pick maybe going to play with my niece, it's cool. If I'm in my house, it's okay. But why would I want to wear a nice ass dress, expensive dress, expensive heels? At least I'll do ponytail. At least. But when you do natural hair, you're wearing a nice dress. I'm looking at the dress up. I just look at the face, and they do one thing. They do one thing when they pay me. You will not do that small makeup and say you're a minimalist. No, no,
Chloe.
no.
One of the tweets that I did see that quoted the snippet of the video, which is a little bit funny, was that this girl said, or the irony that you have 3 black women who are saying that natural wigs look better than natural hair, yet none of their wigs look nice. You would think that if you're gonna advocate that wigs look better, all your wigs would be laid and slayed. So I think that was very funny. That was a little cute little kiki. So I want to give my opinion about this video, and obviously this video isn't really here to say which one's better, natural or wearing wigs. I don't really care. Whatever you want to wear on your head is what you want to wear on your head. For me, I feel I've tried everything. I was relaxed for mainly the most of my years, and I've only been natural for 5 or 6 years now, and for me, I prefer being natural. I feel obviously because relaxer used to burn me too much, and I was this can't be normal, or this can't be safe, so I just turned away from relaxers. And obviously even then also when I had relaxers, my hair just stayed at one length, and it wasn't until I I went natural that my hair grew more fuller and was more voluminous. So yeah, for me, natural hair works for me. I did also try a wig when I was in my first year of university. I just was let me just, there's time to try everything, so I was just let me just try a wig to see how it feels and a friend put it on for me, sort of laid a wig for me, and for me obviously it just wasn't comfortable for me. I don't really like the feeling of the glue on this the front of the scalp. I didn't enjoy that. It didn't feel good to me, and also I think because of the glue that was used, it was really strong, I had to sleep in it, and that was getting sleep, especially I remember my accommodation being really hot, and me waking up in the night, and obviously I was feeling sweaty and I couldn't itch, and I was just yeah, this is not for me personally. If you want to how everybody else wants to wear their hair, if you want to be relaxed, natural, wear wigs, whatever, it's your hair. For me personally, I've tried certain things, and I feel for me, natural hair works for me, but I wouldn't disrespect anybody who wants to wear their hair any differently than the way I wear my hair, sort of thing. So but basically in the video, one of the women can be heard saying that don't wear natural hair to my event, I've said. And in so like in the grand scheme of things, when I was like watching the video, like, let's be honest, like she wasn't saying that she doesn't have an issue with natural hair, or like the idea of like wearing your hair how it is, like how it grows on your scalp, because had it been anybody with like a looser hair texture, like like anybody with like a 3A, 3B sort of looser hair texture, I don't think she'd have an issue with it. I don't think majority of the time when people are talking about like natural hair, like if you're talking about like wearing your hair how it is, like how it grows out of your scalp, I don't think a lot of people will have an issue with it. But it's it does your texture fit the criteria, if that makes sense. Like she doesn't have an issue with like wearing natural hair if it's a looser hair texture. She probably has an issue with like if it's a thicker, 4C hair, like that's what a lot of women like that deem as like, or it doesn't look good sort of thing. Because obviously there's like texturism that plays a part in it. It also like sort of reminds me of like a tweet that went viral like years and years ago, where this woman like tweeted, a black woman tweeted, I was asking about some hair recommendations for my birthday, and a girl said I should get some box braids, and I nearly blocked her. And obviously people rushed, a lot of black women also rushed into the comment section, were like, what's wrong with box braids? Like, I really like box braids, like why would you say that? And she was like, oh well, to me like wearing box braids is not good enough to wear to your own birthday. Like I think that like mindset was so tapped and so warped that like, even I feel like that's the problem with like a lot of like things like videos like this, and also like tweets like that, is where like if you feel like natural hair, like, it's not even the idea of like, oh, natural hair doesn't look good. No, they feel like their natural hair doesn't look good, and that's fine. Like if you feel like, oh, I don't like the way my natural hair looks, or I can't style it enough so well that it looks good at my birthday party, or I can't style it enough like for an event, like a professional red carpet event, we'll just say that. But don't say like as a whole, like, oh, women who wear natural hair like look like this. No, like natural hair is not for you, and maybe it doesn't look good on you, that's fine, but don't try and like make it seem like, oh, it's a whole natural hair issue. Or like, but like for me, I love box braids, and I've seen so many black women with braided hairstyles that look good in a professional setting. Like I'm talking like red carpet, like things like that. Like I've been able to see so many black women like rock that and look absolutely amazing like in like expensive dresses. So just because like it doesn't look good on you, or you feel like, oh, I don't look my best in that, doesn't mean that like, oh, every black woman who wears like braids or to like a nice event, or her natural hair doesn't look good, because like it's a you problem sort of thing. And I think it's the idea of projecting, like you're projecting your thoughts and the way you look, whether it's like things like obviously like colorism and texturism all come into play at this, like where you feel like, oh well, these are my thoughts about my own skin, these are my thoughts about my own hair, but instead of me actually addressing them, let me project them on everybody else and let it be like, oh, so like throw those thoughts on everybody else and makes it an everybody else issue when it's your issue. Yeah, and also like I feel like one of the most stupidest comments that I did see, I'll try and find it if I can, but not that I want to like blast out anybody, but like once again, where you had people in the just one woman in the comment section that was saying, oh, like colonialism, like is the reason why a lot of black women feel this way. And it's like, of course, like I'm not negating things like slavery and colonialism and the part that they had to play in these mindsets, but I refuse to make excuses for grown women's behavior. And I find it funny how like majority of the time like the goalpost and like the criteria is shifted when it comes to certain people, because like let's be honest, like if this was three like non-black women that were on a podcast and that said, oh, like I saw a black woman that came to my event and she wore her natural hair and she didn't look good, I feel like social media would have set a light. Like a lot of black women would be like, how dare you say that? Majority of the time it's like, it's almost deemed as like, oh, we're quicker to make excuses and blame like colonialism and like slavery and stuff like that for these mindsets. And I'm not like saying that like, oh, slavery and colonialism don't have a part to play in this, of course they do, but I refuse to make excuses for grown-ass people's behavior. Like no, she wasn't, let's be honest, like this woman wasn't thinking of colonialism when she sat down on the podcast and said these stupid statements. No, she was saying it like, these are three grown women, like they know what they're saying and they know how saying things like that can be triggering or hurtful to certain people, but it's like they still said it. Like I don't think, stop like excusing colonialism, because when you do that, it's like or let's just brush it under the carpet, or like colonialism, slavery, like so let's brush it under the carpet and let's be done with it. Like it's easier to blame the white community when it's like, no, you still have these same like sentiments today, and like you're a grown-ass adult saying horrible things like this about your own community. Yeah, so, and also like I think it was also funny because like I always bring this up when I can, but like I made a video a while back about Asian Doll, the rapper. She got exposed for like saying some problematic like tweets about Asian people, and like I sort of like said them out, and I was like, it's horrible for her to say that, because you know, how can she say that about another race of people? Or also as well to like, if like the tables were turned, like obviously black people would have made it like like you also would have had an issue if other races of people had like horrible had horrible tweets and like horrible like past tweets sort of thing. And then like there was a girl in the comment section that was like, oh, like it happened a while ago, like get over it sort of thing. And I was like, yeah, like keep that same energy though when it comes to other races of people, because when like I think I remember like on Twitter, a video of Justin Bieber resurfaced, and I'm not like the biggest Justin Bieber fan. I think he makes all right music, but I'm not like a Justin Bieber fan. But I think it's obviously worth it to say that like somebody took like an old video of Justin Bieber when he was like in his teens, and it was a video of him making racist jokes about black people, which is horrible. And obviously like the person captioned it like, how Justin Bieber's career stay the same after this is mind-boggling to me. And obviously you had like you know, his fans and a lot of people in the comment section that were like, oh, he apologized sort of thing. But then you had other black people saying, oh well, so that doesn't make it right. And I think it's like, if we have that same energy when it comes to other races of people, to be like, oh, stop making racist jokes or stop saying horrible things about black people. But then it's like, why is it okay that like, oh, you know, it's always easy for us to be like, oh, like it's, you know, it's colonialism, and it's like, oh, like we're almost like excusing it when it comes to like internal black people issues. Like it's almost also like, it's always like for example, even with Chris Brown, I'm not necessarily like the biggest Chris Brown fan, and that's obviously is nothing to do with Rihanna. Not obviously, I understand why people don't like Chris Brown, because obviously, especially if you've had like a DV incident, like it's obviously triggering, so I understand why people don't listen to his music. But you have some Chris Brown fans that are always like, oh, and obviously like the reason why I've always said like it's not about Rihanna is because even after that happened, like Rihanna is still friends with him. I think like they tried to get back together years after the whole, you know, event that happened with them. So I feel like that's why I'm just like, well, if Rihanna has forgiven him, then I mean, I'm not bearing a grudge. But that's not necessarily saying that I'm saying that what he did was okay. I'm just saying that I'm not using Rihanna as an excuse to not like him. But I just don't like him because he's also said problematic things about black women. But like here you have majority of the time, whenever people say that they don't like Chris Brown for whatever reason, you have like his crazy fans majority of the time, which are mainly black women that have by his music, that always defended him. And it's like, okay, well, keep that same, like we're not telling you not to like people, but if you're here saying that like, or get over it with like a certain black celebrity, even though they've said horrible things about black women or like other black people, and then like, but then when it's like another celebrity, it's like, oh, I can't support them because they've said this or they've said like, I think one of the funniest, another thing that I came across was Megan Thee Stallion took a picture with Paris Hilton, and also I'm not a big Paris Hilton fan, but somebody was like, oh, I think people were like admiring it. I don't know what was admirable about it, but I think it was like a pop culture moment. Like Paris Hilton takes a picture with Megan Thee Stallion, and there was somebody that, you know, quoted the tweet and said like, oh, Paris Hilton is like racist, like I said like horrible things about like black women and black people, and like had basically taken a video of like, I think Paris Hilton saying the N-word a bunch of times, and that was like in her younger days, and obviously you had like a lot of black people in uproar, and I'm like, and oh yeah, that I'm not defending it. I'm not saying that it's fine, but it's like I see moments like this, and it's like, stop making it. Like I'm that kind of person. We keep the same energy with everyone. It's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say that, oh, it's okay for 3 black women to say heinous things about natural hair, and then like, but then if it's like change the race, or like, you know, then it's, or all of a sudden it's let's cancel them, let's find out where they live, and let's do all of this. Like, no, if something is, I go by statements. If something is horrible, then it just, I don't care who said it, we're all dealing with it accordingly, and we're all dealing with it equally, sort of thing. So that's where I stand. yeah, and you know, I think also sort of like I sort of blame the, you know, the culture of like hair, like hairstylist at the moment in time. Like I did see somebody once posted like, or bring back the hairdressers or the hairstylists that actually grow hair. I feel like nowadays it's just braiders, just just braiders, just being able to lay a wig. Like nobody else. Like I feel like I think sometimes I do my natural hair and I'm thinking like it's not even that like it's difficult. I think it's the idea of like it, and I never like using the word difficult, because hair, like I like in my hair isn't difficult. It's just like more curlier and coilier, and it just needs more time and a little bit more TLC than obviously other textures of hair. But I feel like when it comes to like that idea of like just going to hairdresser, even if it's just getting a wash, a dry, like a washing a dry, like a wash, condition, treatment, and like just being able to like put in a protective style, whether it's a twist or like whatever style. It's not just about even though braiding is just, it's still a protective style, but it's the idea that like now everyone's just like laying wigs. Even when you think about box braiding, it's like the whole idea of pampering. I think that's what I'm getting at, the pampering, like that you feel like, or going to the hairdressers to get pampered and like to get like a nice little scalp massage and stuff like that. Like it's not a thing anymore, or it's not as big of a thing, especially like if you like live in a place that's like I live in England, and I live in like the north of England, so like there's not a lot of like natural hairstylists around me like at all, if not unless you go to like a big city like London, but like where I see that there's a lot more. But depending on where you live, like mainly like natural hairstylists are not a thing. Like, and even like when you do want to braid your hair, it's like you have to have your hair like washed, conditioned, blow dried, straightened. Like it's like hair, like even like the stylists don't even want to do their jobs anymore. It's just like I just want to, and all these like hairstylist stories that go viral every now and then are literally crazy. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like the idea that like that essence of pampering and just like someone that just is there for natural hair, like just it's just not here anymore. It's just everybody's just doing wiggling, hairstyling, that's it. Another thing that I want to bring up was I don't know if anyone remembers, because it didn't like, although like it was sort of a discourse, it wasn't like a huge discourse, and I think even when I went back and looked at it, I only found like 1 or 2 videos that were like made about it. But Zendaya, who's like a super big actress, I think for like, someone said it was like her 25th birthday shoot. I don't know, I don't think it was, because like she wouldn't take her birthday shoot with Stormy, you know, the one from what's that show called? I feel really bad that I've forgotten the name of the show, but it's like the show that like she's the, you know, I'll try to put a picture of it, Euphoria, that's the show. I feel really bad because I mean I don't watch it, but like it's a really big show that everybody talks about. I just haven't watched it. So I was thinking like, obviously if it's her birthday shoot, I mean maybe if it was, but I don't know whether like why I should want to take her birthday shoot with Stormy, like the actress Stormy that plays her sister in the show Euphoria. But anyway, like for that shoot, she wore like Afro puff, and this isn't the first time that I've seen her like wearing like a thick like Afro puff. I think she's worn it on the red carpet before, but in that shoot she wore like almost like a 4C type Afro puff, like both her and Stormy did, and they're both biracial women, or like, you know, women who have like curlier, like looser hair texture, especially Zendaya. Like her hair is very like much looser, and I think you had like some black people, like black women, that were outraged, and they were like, you know, I don't know, I think they used the word like appropriating 4C hair 4C, and they basically made it an issue of her wearing 4C hair. And I was like, I literally cannot believe what I'm seeing. Like, why is this like an issue? And it's almost like, where I do understand, you know, actually I don't understand. I was about to say where I do understand, because I'm trying to see the different point of view, but no, I don't understand. I don't understand why I did have an issue with it. But I was screaming, like when I was like looking at the tweets and like people's responses, it was screaming very much like, you as a biracial woman with loose hair, like how dare you see the value in something that I don't see the value in? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like if you like had a toy, like you have like, imagine being like a child and you have so many toys, like so many, like your room is like filled with so many toys, and there's one particular toy that you don't like playing with, or you don't really care for. It could go missing for all you care. You don't play with it, you don't really care, and maybe like one day you invite your friend over for a play date, and you're I'm going into this story, but it's like you invite your friend over for a play date, and your friend is like, oh, like if you don't like is playing with this toy, and you're just a bit like, oh yeah, I don't really like this toy, I just see why you like this toy. This toy is like, it's broken, it looks disheveled, like why do you even care about this toy? And your friend is like, oh well, if you don't like it, then can I take it home with me, because obviously I see value in it. And then you're here like, no, I don't want you to take it home, I don't want you to take my toy away. Like all of a sudden I like it now I like the toy, like almost like you see value in it now, a toy that you probably didn't want to play with, that you didn't like. And I feel like that was like what the thought process is that like majority of the time 4C hair isn't really celebrated, isn't really loved, or like as much by a black woman. So it's like seeing them say that like, oh, how dare this biracial woman wear this 4C hair, is like, or how like you have looser hair texture, like why don't you, it's almost like, I don't know, it's like the words are coming in, I just can't speak them out, but it's like, you know, you shouldn't really be wearing 4C hair, because it like the way natural hair is deemed, especially the 4C type, like why do you see value in the 4C hair that I don't like? That's what a lot of the responses were screaming to me. And also like another point that I want to talk about was I feel like the textural wigs that the women were wearing in the video, minus the one that had a braided wig on, because I think one of them had a braided wig on, but I think it had a part to play in the way the message was received. I feel like if those two women were wearing more curlier, coilier sort of like wigs, the message would have been received a little bit differently. I think, you know, let's be honest, a lot of when, obviously wigs are a protective hairstyle, you braid your hair underneath and then like you put it on type of thing, but I feel like the wigs that are frequently worn the most, or like purchased the most, and also like celebrated the most, tend to be the straighter bust downs. Like majority of the time, like people aren't wearing curlier, like curlier wigs or extensions. And also speaking of extensions, there was once like a video of like just this random like black man who was like going off on like black women and saying like obviously how much like he dislikes black women, and he was saying I think, oh, the reason why like he dates outside his race is that like, you know, I think like white women were his preference. He was saying that like, oh, white women don't wear wigs sort of thing, and then like, oh, like they wear their real hair basically. And then obviously you had like black women in the thread trying to prove that like, look, I wear my real hair. Not like, I don't know why they cared, but they I think they were like also putting like pictures of like white women wearing extensions, and I was like, this doesn't really make any sense, because like if you think about the word extensions, it's like extending, like you're almost like to make it longer. Like, so a lot of the times like the pictures that they were being shown of white women wearing, although some of the extensions look botched, like they were wearing like extensions that fit their hair type. Like they're not wearing forced, like they don't have like really straight blonde hair, and they're, you know, wearing like curly 4C like dark brown like extensions. Like, no, that's not how it works. It's like, I feel like that point, whenever it's like, oh, black women aren't the only people that wear extensions or that wear wigs, like of course like you do have a small segment of other races of women that do wear wigs, but it's not, I think it's like the hair texture has a part to play in you know, because if wigs are a protective hairstyle and you're wearing them for protective reasons, then you would wear thicker, you'd wear the wig that looks like your hair type, because it doesn't, like you're still trying to look like you, if that makes sense. But yeah, but hey, this is not what the video is about. I don't really want to delve right into that sort of perspective. I just wanted to like sort of bring up that point, that I feel like the video, what made the video and what she said was horrible, but what made what she said worse was the texture of the wig she was wearing. And I feel like that's where I was like, oh yeah, the cherry has been put on top of the ice cream sundae, because had you been wearing I mean, obviously had she been wearing a a 4C textured wig, she obviously wouldn't say that crap. But I think it's like, oh, I refuse to believe anything that comes out of your mouth about natural hair if that's a texture that you choose to wear. I feel like it sums up your thought process right there. Yeah, so these are my opinions about the video that was making its rounds around Twitter and like YouTube and other social media platforms. Let me know your thoughts about this video as well. Like, how did it make you feel? Are there any other maybe points that I missed that you paid attention to in the video, in the snippet, and that you want to elaborate on? Feel free to sort of like talk about it in the comment section. If you reached this part of the video, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me. I really appreciate it. Please like and comment and subscribe if you want to. I'll catch you in my next video. I do try and post. It's not even like I don't like posting, it's just work. Like this 9 to 5, if you watch my last video about a 9 to 5 is beating my ass. Like, so I'm trying to do this whole YouTubing thing and do the 9 to 5. Like, life was good when I did this YouTube and I was at uni and I only went to like lectures like 2 or 3 times a week. But this whole going to work every day, and then when I come home I'm knackered and I don't even want to like do any videos. Even sometimes I'm just like, oh, what do I even do a video about? So I think, but yeah, thank you so much for even like the people that like come back whenever I make a video. Like, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. And if I don't see you, have a happy Christmas, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Bye guys.